Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be cooking one of my favorite recipes for fall. It is pumpkin cheesecake caramel bars. They are so delicious and crunchy. You can actually make these year round. I'm going to share a couple tips with you towards the end of this video, but let's get started. To get started, I'm going to be adding a little bit of parchment paper to a 9x13 baking dish. I suggest using a baking dish like this. It really works well with this particular recipe. We're going to actually be baking it in the parchment paper and then pulling it out. I'm going to use about 2 to 3 bags of graham crackers. Sometimes you'll find this recipe with less. I like my crust to be super thick and crunchy. Once you have all your graham crackers nice and smashed up, add them to a bowl and we're gonna mix together a little bit of brown sugar. I used 1/4 cup and 1/2 cup of room temperature butter. Some people also like to use melted butter. I prefer to use this because it's a lot easier. When we're gonna actually add it to the dish, we're gonna actually use like a little pounder to make sure that it gets nice and thick and pounded down into the dish. And then for this recipe, since it's fall, I'm gonna be adding a little bit dash of pumpkin spice to this recipe just to give it a little extra pumpkin flavor. I'm going to throw this into my standing mixer just to get everything well incorporated, and then I'm going to add it to the top of our parchment paper. Once you kind of get it evenly put in there, use any type of mallet to just really push it down. Otherwise, when you go to cut it, the pieces will all fall apart. So as much as you can, just like any other cheesecake recipe, you want to make sure this is nice and thick and well incorporated into the dish. Once that's done, we're going to throw it in the oven for 8 minutes, set at 350 degrees. While our crust is cooking, we're going to start making our cheesecake. I used 4 8-ounce cream cheese bags, 1.5 cups of white sugar, 2 tablespoons of vanilla. I also used a little dash of vanilla bean. You can get this, I'll put the link down in the description below. You can get it from Amazon. It just really ups the flavor and gives it that beautiful kind of spreckly color. And we're gonna be putting this in a standing mixer for about a minute on a low kind of speed. And then we're gonna be adding 1 large egg every maybe 15 seconds. Want to make sure that the eggs get evenly incorporated into the cream cheese. We're going to be adding 4 eggs in total. Once you have that done, we are going to be adding 1/2 of this mixture to the top of our crust, and then we're going to put it back in the mixer with 1 can of pumpkin pie filling. Now that our mixture is all done, we're gonna pull our crust out of the oven and get the first half on. I try to add a little bit at a time to make sure I don't overly do it, but just evenly spread it throughout the entire top, and then go ahead and add 1 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree and a little dash of that pumpkin pie spice. We're gonna mix this in the standing mixer and then pour it on top of the first layer of cheesecake. So make sure you get that nice and evenly added to the top, and then let's add it to the oven for about 30 minutes. While that's cooking, we're gonna be making our topping. It is made of 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of oats, 1 tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice, and 2 tablespoons of vanilla. Go ahead and mix this in your standing mixer and set it aside to be adding to our cheesecake bars in a minute. Once the cheesecake is done baking for 30 minutes, go ahead and pull it out of the oven and we're gonna put our topping on. I just evenly sprinkle this on, but don't push it into the actual cheesecake. Try to leave that layer nice and solid, and then just sprinkle on top all this delicious goodness. Once you get all your topping on, we're gonna add this back to the oven for another 30 minutes. Once this is done cooking, we're gonna add it to the refrigerator for about 2 hours. You wanna get it nice and thick and solid before you cut it up and serve it. I will sometimes do this overnight. For this video, I actually left it in the refrigerator overnight because I wasn't gonna be using it until the next day. But the best part about this recipe is when it's done, it will last for a couple days. This is the next day. I'm going to be adding a little caramel. All you have to do is grab those caramel dots from Target, or I'll link some down below from Amazon where I got them. Melt them in a little pot like this and then just drizzle it on top. It is so delicious. It also kind of keeps the bars together. I have to say it is probably one of my favorite parts, and the kids always eat this part first, but it definitely holds the bars together really nicely. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. One other tip I would tell you is when you do go to cut this, go ahead and pull it out using the parchment paper, and it's really easy to actually remove the bars from this because remember it's nice and cold. And then use a hot knife. I actually ran my knife under some hot water, and then if it's hot to touch, go ahead and it will just literally melt through these bars. Cut up some nice flavors, and I love how this dish, they actually have kind of a different color. So like the top is dark, the middle is like that nice orange pumpkin, and then you get that crispy white and then your delicious crust. You guys, I hope you love this recipe as much as I do. Please tell me in the comments down below if you guys love cheesecake as much as I do. I cannot wait to see if you guys make this. Please tag me in it at Mrs. Lauren Nicholson on Instagram. I am loving all the things you guys are making. I have so many more recipes for fall that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. If you want to make this recipe for 4th of July, use a little blueberry or raspberry pie filling instead of the pumpkin. There's so many different ways you can make this cheesecake. It is so delicious, and I cannot wait to see how you guys make yours. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, and I cannot wait to see you guys soon. Bye!